How's it going, everybody? This is Dominic Minchella. I am the Kansas City Chiefs beat writer on SI and the host of the Kansas City Chiefs Insider Podcast. Thank you guys so much for stopping in today. Much like how we were talking about three players under pressure yesterday, today we're going to be talking about three players, three of the top players who are candidates to have a breakout season for Kansas City. There are a slew of them. Luckily, though, for Kansas City, and it's kind of been their 4-1-1 for multiple years, is that the fact that their young talent, they come in most of the time, and they're already eons, leaps and bounds above to where other rookies are compared in the National Football League. So, with that being said, I got three guys written down here who are guys to keep an eye on and watch on how they progress going forward into their second season. All three were rookies last season, and they will be going into year two. The first one is obviously wide receiver Xavier Worthy. See, this is a cool way to start. So Xavier Worthy saw his role expanded as soon as Rashee Rice went down. Now, or during that, before we get to that, during that, Rashee Rice, he had his, Xavier Worthy, he had his struggles to begin the season, getting off the not ring rust, it's just kind of, he's already, the nerves. There we go. That's a good word. The nerves for him. So he blossomed into a receiving option for Patrick Mahomes that became more consistent down the line. In the playoffs, he was one of the more exciting players to watch. He can show that he can go up and get a football. While there's obviously some areas of his game that he has to improve on, I don't think that it would be wrong to say that that's for any prospect. Any young player, they're not going to come into the show and have a surmountable amount of success. Some guys are. And those guys are the superstars of the league. Not to say that Xavier Worthy can't express and grow into that kind of wide receiving option, but I just think that year two is going to be better. While it might be difficult for him to lead the Kansas City Chiefs in receiving yards, even though he finished second last season behind Travis Kelce, I can still see a lot of the offensive game plan moving through Xavier Worthy. He expressed earlier this offseason that he is starting to understand what Patrick Mahomes likes to do more on offense, the ways that he can benefit from that. And Mahomes has said that he trusts Xavier Worthy. He's more than just speed, ladies and gentlemen. He's a talented young wide receiver that has a lot of potential, so much so that they're thinking about putting him as a punt returner. This guy who was second on the roster last season in receiving yards is now being viewed as a guy who could be helpful in the punt return game. While some might think that that's kind of a downgrade from where you were, I just think that it's even more beautiful that the Chiefs are using his speed, his assets, the reasons that he got drafted in their scheme. Perfect. I am assuming, though, that you're going to see a lot of increased numbers in Xavier Worthy, especially if Rashee Rice if he starts the season in Kansas City week one, depending on how the NFL grades on all that. I am excited to watch this wide receiving room because I know that guys like Rice, Worthy, Smith-Schuster, Hollywood Brown, Jalen Royals, they are all going to be electric to watch, something that they have to return to because last year they were bitten by the injury bug. Fully expect Xavier Worthy to be a reliable option once again and one of the better wide receivers on Kansas City's team. Now let's go to number two. We've got an offensive lineman in Kingsley Suamataia. Suamataia, he has a very high ceiling, right? Big presence on the offensive line. While he moved around a lot last season, Andy Reid liked that he was able to do that. They like that he is able to pick up and play a different position. While he might not have succeeded all the time, it's promising that see a young player who just got drafted to, he's earning his role this offseason throughout the entirety of the offseason since rookie minicamp and prolonged. When asked about Suamataia's role this offseason going into 2025, head coach Andy Reid disclosed that he will be competing for the left guard's position. Thus far into the offseason and all the training camps and OTAs process, we haven't seen any regression that we've been told or scouted. It looks like he's becoming more comfortable while he's out there. Of course, he's got to improve just like Xavier Worthy. He's not going to be a guy that's going to reach his full potential. And that makes this team really scary because going back to Worthy, and then I'll tie it right back into Suamataia. If Worthy is able to improve on last season was pretty good. In Suamataia's case, last season will be used as a stepping stone. Here's what I did last year that didn't work out. Here's what I'm going to try and attempt to do to help my team in the future. Keep in mind that these guys have still got 3 years left on their contract from their rookie contract, pending extension should they improve and show themselves to be crucial parts of the roster. But I can see Suamataia having a much better season than he was. If he's able to earn that left guard role, it's going to give him a spot that he can stay, that he can stick with, and that he can become consistent with. It is important for young guys that I've seen when watching the games. Young guys, they are so worried about getting their foot in and making a good impression for their coaches. I think that they get really worked up and they forget how to, they forget their fundamentals. I think that Suamataia is a bright spot on the Chiefs roster and the offensive line, which looks way more improved than it was last season going into his second year. Keep an eye out on Kingsley. And the third one, I touched on this guy yesterday in my podcast. If you missed that, go check it out. And that's going to be safety Jaden Hicks. This guy is a fun watch. He's a fun football player, man. I very much enjoy watching Jaden Hicks play. And so much so, now that he is stepping up into a starting role as a safety, that's just the breakout season waiting and calling to be happened. This guy's got a lot of talent. He's learned a lot from Justin before he tenured himself out to New Orleans to play for the Saints. He is a young guy who, if he finds success now, even with the younger guys who are coming in, like the likes of the 2025 defensive class, he's going to be able to be that voice on defense in the locker room, giving that 2 cents that Reid gave to him. I think that with the defensive coordinator Steve Spagnuolo working with Jaden Hicks, as well as the special teams coordinators and all that, this guy is going to bring his game to a different level. While you're going to see the total number of tackles increase, hopefully you're going to see a lot more passes defended, more interceptions. There is going to be a lot that is going to come because he's going to be on that field a whole lot more. And I'm excited to watch him. He is a breakout candidate to keep an eye on, potentially could even make himself one of the more well-known safeties. It'll be very, very cool to see him progress in that way. That being said, guys, check out the ticker down below. That's going to conclude the podcast for today. As we continuously get into the offseason, you're not going to want to miss anything that we cover. And we've covered it every single day. Every single day. Check it out over on X. You can follow me at Dom Minchella. I post and repost every day, as well as over at KC Chiefs on SI. A lot of good work is going into that. You're not going to want to miss it as we continuously cover the offseason. That being said, guys, be kind to one another, and I will always see you tomorrow.